holiday hoopsgiving in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, many will tell you the best team in America is the Auburn Tigers. Right now, number 2 in the poll, and about to take on a Buckeye team from Ohio State that can really shoot the three. Moments ago, Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl in his locker room before the tip.
And Texas A&M, Ole Miss, it's the best league in the country.
Well, Janai Broome, the All-American, winning the opening tip, and we are underway. Auburn already with wins over Houston, Iowa State, North Carolina. All top 13 opponents. Baker Mazzara getting in the lane, can't find a range right away. So the Buckeyes, unbelievable beyond the three-point line, particularly John Mobley Jr. And that one tapped away into the backcourt. As you look at the starting lineups here for Ohio State, brought to you by the 7 Group. And an official to be a key, wearing 0 for Ohio State. On the spin on the baseline, and a block out of the sky, but count that one, the block by Cardwell, but that'll bound by the Buckeyes.
That's going to be critical for Ohio State. They have a very seasoned and experienced backcourt. Their front court is still a little bit young. Them holding their ground against the best front court in America will determine ultimately if they're able to win down to the stretch, taking care of the basketball, playing through your bigs to them on the defensive end.
It's an interesting thing to say, too, because it's an all-senior or graduate lineup. You figure, well, that's who they are. This maybe is their ceiling. You think there's a lot more to go here.
You got guys like Pettigrew who could take over the game. You still have some young players that are still finding out where their rhythm is on the offensive floor.
Broome beyond the three and knocks that one down, and that could be a very bad early sign for Ohio State. He's only hitting 29% out there.
Yeah, you file a scouting report the correct way, right? You want to have him settle for a three-point shot, but he's a rhythm shooter, and if he gets going offensively, that only creates more gaps to drive.
Broome picking up the rebound. By the way, he is going to graduate later today. Kelly from the wing knocks it down. Miles Kelly at 49% from 3.
Played his first 3 seasons at Georgia Tech. Gives him another perimeter threat, also length defensively.
Well, Sean Stewart slithering inside, given a short drive from Auburn here to Atlanta. And they have sent some folks here today. They are rearing to go about their Auburn Tiger team. Little follow-away line driver there by Kelly.
You on screens. Right, something you don't really see a lot in college basketball, a lot of phantom screens, but these guys actually make contact, so you have to communicate if you're the opposing defender.
Oh, bro, terrific move to get inside for 2. The 6'10".
Always love when the crowd shouts air ball, and we're like, well, you got hit on the arm.
Yes, there was a pretty darn good reason that he missed by about 10 feet. Broome at the top of the key. Here's Pettiford, the freshman, long range. Yes. Knocks down the 3. Auburn basically has 6 guys averaging in double figures coming into Atlanta here this afternoon. Shot clock down to 9. Here's Kelly. Now at 5. Broome took a look at it, looking to blow by, lays it in. Shot clock at 13 for Ohio State. Michi Johnson, his second stint at Ohio State after spending a couple of years at South Carolina. The spin by Royal and the foul. Personal will go on Miles Kelly.
And ambitions that all these young players want to achieve. When you get a chance seeing the time and investment that teams are putting in to give back to communities is so important. I beg more young players to do that. It gives you a true reason for how you can make a difference in life.
Oh, very well said. 15-7 Auburn trying to add to that. And Will on the long 3 by Denver Jones. Hey, this is a part of the game for Ohio.
Attempts, only 9. As we talked about earlier, Ohio State averaging 30 points, making 10 threes a game. They have not attempted 1 3-point shot yet in this game.
And won't be able to do it here as Royal, they collapse on him, and a good move gets him a foul with 5 on the shot. The key guy for the Buckeyes, averaging 14 and 7, and drops. Going way back to 1917, that was a scintillating 0-0 game. Wouldn't you love to have had a ticket for that one? In 1990, the Hall of Fame Bowl that Auburn won 31-14.
So you're saying Ohio State didn't have the same recruiting budget back then?
Apparently not. Broome again, pretty much getting anything he wants, son.
He's a hard Now all of a sudden Auburn with the steal on the defensive end and another finish by Janai Broome.
Boy, is he putting on a show early.
Of the great continue between these respective schools. Bo Jackson.
Doesn't get any greater.
Yes, it does. Dave O'Brien. What are you talking about?
On the drive, Pettiford. Jones will loft this one up there and switch that one in, and he's hit a couple early. He was here for a guy that was really under-recruited.
I mean, he was a three-star recruit. He transferred from Morehead State. So his story is incredible. And we got a chance to talk to Bruce Pearl about it. We were saying, hey, he is super athletic. It doesn't mean he can jump high off the ground, but his hand.
From the field, 42% overall from three. They've been taking very good care of the ball, passing the ball very well. And on the run out, Mobley is going to lay that in. A well-run-up play here for the Buckeyes.
Pepper as well, one of the best scorers they're going to have in the game of basketball today.
25-12, the Tigers. Johnson off the fake.
The pass.
And Stewart will take the hit. And he will head to the line with.
Right, you start getting shots at the rim. You start getting to the free throw line.
5 teams ranked inside the top 10. Number 1 to Florida will be in action next week in Charlotte at the Jumpman Invitational.
And look, in order to beat one of those top-tier teams in the country, you got to make free throws as well.
Stewart trying to finish and will with the slam.
Strong finish.
For Auburn, 6.5.
Well, Auburn just, it feels like they get bored sometimes on the offensive end and they have poor shot selection. So like obviously right here, making a priority to get the ball down low. That is what
enters this day and age.
Well, I think it's a differentiator. That's the thing you love about college basketball. You have to have a little bit of meanness to your game in order to get to the next level.
You kind of like that.
I love that.
Way downtown, the jumper caught by Broome, and he's fouled on the play.
Yes, they care about digging into your psyche and beating you out over.
This year, 67th of his career. And they still got 5 minutes to go in the half. Tough rebound by Baker Mazzara to give them a second effort. That's another big part of the personality of the Auburn Tigers, is the aggressiveness.
Look at them on the court right now. They're 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'9", and 6'8". I mean, that's NBA size.
Kelly swishes into triples. 49%. He does really well. That's certainly true of Mobley hitting threes, but not this time.
Well, I saw Miles Kelly play last year for Damon Stoudemire when they beat North Carolina at Georgia Tech, and he's a guy that can get going offensively, but still has more freedom because of the style in which this Auburn team plays. They play faster.
Look at how relentless they are under that 10, right? Baker Mazzara to lay that one in. Look at a rebounding advantage, 21-11 for Auburn.
As my guy Seth Greenberg will say in studio, the cumulative effect of Auburn, they just wear you down over time. They keep the most talented players there is in college basketball. Obviously, the numbers don't prove that as a relative ceiling for the Buckeyes.
It's such a big deal. It doesn't sound like much, but we're going to play a lot faster than you're used to.
Yes.
And that doesn't happen overnight.
No, because you have to get your conditioning just not of the body, but of the mind with increasing the amount of possessions within the ballgame.
Baker Mazzara deep in the corner. Into the paint. Airborne. What a sweet shot.
And he is so long, so athletic. And look at that, he's also taking on the opportunity of guarding the likes of Thornton on the defensive end. Just a Swiss Army knife.
Finally a whistle here on Auburn. They did a great job denying the layup without contact, but up 36 guys in there. I love hearing Malcolm in there as well. Another one of my partners. I've had the pleasure of working.
Doing the Tennessee game, and we brought Karl Anthony Towns over to the desk for the halftime report. And you know, both Karl Towns and I went to the same high school, and I said, you know, I'm now the second best player. I'm like, you big guys get me all the time. And Seth jumped right in. He's like, first Yao Ming, now you, Karl. So he's good at the zingers. Oh my goodness, these guys, man.
Denver Jones from the wing. In the absolutely brutal SEC. Pettiford, the gifted freshman. He swishes in a triple.
The more he learns to play within the construct on the offensive end, is still scary to think about for Auburn basketball.
And they're just starting really to get Ja'Kai Howard, who's another talented freshman at 6'6", out of Boston, Mass. Get him into the flow, and Jones can't miss right now. Denver Jones absolutely on fire. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157 158 1 Man, is Auburn cooking. 45-18 with 90 seconds before the break. Johnson with an answer. Just well, at times here in the first half, or long stretches actually, Auburn has just toyed with Ohio State. On the offensive end, the back down. Broom getting inside, denied. He'll follow, and you're going to count that basket. It's goaltending. So another hoop for 47-21. Auburn looking every bit like the #2 team in the country, if not #1. And a shove there, and the freshman will commit the foul. Pettiford with the personal.
OB, to go back to that last.
Maybe 100 points today at this pace anyway, but their defense has been superb, holding Ohio State to droughts of 6.5 minutes on 2 different occasions here in the first half.
Talking about Ohio State team averaging 82 points per game.
Yep. Over the top, Cardwell with the slam. Pettiford with the feed, and they're getting anything they want. And this Auburn crowd loving every minute of it. 8 assists to just 2 for the Buckeyes.
Good job by Thornton. You still want to hold for 1 shot. You're down 28, but still you want to get the last shot going into halftime.
Final seconds of the first half. Stewart in the lane, blocked by Cardwell.
First off, what incredible hands by Sean Stewart to catch that pass. It's a hard pass to catch, but what?
Only 2 points, but defensively, he has been a wall. Royal off the inbounds, and that's the end of the first half. And the Tigers, as impressive a half as they've had.
Defensive tenacity, can you bring to not just keep the momentum, but to elevate?
Stewart downstairs, he was denied.
No foul on that, huh?
No whistle, they both hit the deck. That was Baker Mazzara who denied him. And a pull-up pop, the line driver. Cardwell on the other side of the iron to slam that one down.
Is that not offensivity? And every time he's able to get the ball into the gaps, the length of Chad Baker Mazzara or Jones deters him from taking a shot over the top because of his height disadvantage.
Room in the lane on the top, the slam by Cardwell. Helping out a friend.
I mean, that goes to show you the passing of Johni Broome, right? And that's what makes him such an elite player. Not only can he score from inside and outside, but his playmaking ability is what sets him apart.
Parrish with a triple. That's 5 assists for Broome.
That's still in the cylinder. And then the passing of Johni Broome, just once again, the ability, I can't, hit this hard enough for people at home. A lot of times, a lot of big players are rushed in how they turn base. Johni Broome so poised, takes his time, takes a dribble, lets the defense react.
Baker Mazzara with a little look-away pass.
Make him go over that left shoulder. And look, that's his comfort spot. And he's
have a very big afternoon. Parrish trying to make a move with the left hand. That'll roll off the 10.
Cardwell running opposite side.
Baker Mazzara swooping in, but he'll draw the foul.
Get back to the NIL pool for Bill Belichick and Hubert Davis. From a coaching perspective, I love it. Because I think young people, I don't think it's going to work.
That's what I was wondering about.
I do wonder at what point, and I know a staff can do it, but these young people are very different. They're going to want Bill Belichick himself to be in their living rooms. And he's going to have to handle a lot of that day-to-day recruiting. My spiked eggnog. Leave me alone.
Spiked, I like the way you think.
Nothing wrong with having a little comfort while watching some hoops.
No, sir. Cardwell inside for 2. He's starting to get his points here in the second half.
And just super athletic and plays with a Dennis Rodman type of energy. Just constantly moving, always active.
Look at Parrish getting it downstairs. Parker will lay it up and in. Austin Parks the 6'10" half, but it didn't last long, obviously. Pettiford looking to penetrate.
Oh.
Cardwell went for another slam. He thought he got fouled on the play. On the long run and a slam on the other end by Devin Royal.
Well, that's what Coach Diebler is happy about. That's where Ohio State basketball is at their best. In transition, they get a lot of back screens. They do a lot of drag screens. They're one of the best passing teams in the country if they're able to get into transition.
If it's shut down, back up top for Broome. Room to attack, lays it up and in. Well, you made that statement a couple times today. That's a career high.
I feel like you didn't like my prison basketball reference.
Well,
don't really know where to go with that one, do you?
Broom will give it up for Pettiford, and he'll knock it down. The three-pointer.
On why Pettiford was not in the game down the stretch with his incredible shot-making ability, and just absolutely has that ball on the string. Seth Greenberg says he reminds me a little bit of Kyrie Irving with the way he can move with the ball. Just that shifty.
Number 2 in the country in three-point accuracy at 56%. But they needed a lot from him today in the early going. Room out of the pack. Baker Mazzara to attack and draws the foul.
He's been met with physicality. They've been denying him the ball. He's catching the ball.
There's several of them shoot it great. You know, 88, 90, 93%.
Defense did not travel. Typically they force a ton of turnovers versus Duke. They only forced 4. And Duke made 9 threes, shooting 40% from the three-point line. Thus far in this game, it's a completely different story. Auburn has dominated.
Well, they only turn it over 9 times a game, so they're right there with them. He passes, and you know the combination of scoring and rebound today.
But a play creator than a shot creator for himself.
0 for 5, and he's 0 for 2 from three-point land. That's a big miss today. Jones will float in 2. Denver Jones is actually not necessarily a huge scoring game, but a very steady game today. It's 14.
It's a style of play that you're seeing a lot more in college basketball. That reverse pivot, let the defense kind of expand, take its time, turn over that shoulder, read the defense again, and take a fadeaway jumper.
Stewart on the baseline, hits a tough shot over Cardwell. He's run into a freight train today. Jones up top for Pettiford.
This is what you know you talk about basketball daily. It's Micah Parrish, not Micah Parsons. That guy plays for the Dallas Cowboys, but it's fine. We're moving on.
Tough shot there by Chaney Johnson.
With inside presence.
Pettiford up top. Oh, he couldn't finish it. Cardwell's had a couple of magnificent dunks today. Now he gets it back, and there she is. The second try was a dandy. 4:37 Auburn.
We talked about Auburn just dominating now. With the way they're shooting and the way they're defending, building familiarity with this court for long-term success will be vital. It's a great sign for all Auburn fans. It's essentially a home game.
Yes. Johnson trying to charge down the lane will draw the foul, and we have another timeout.
He's been able to do what Mark Post's been able to do at Kentucky at times, where they can be a little bit stuck, but still.
6 minutes to go here in Atlanta. All Auburn Tigers. They have been spectacular.
You know, not too many possessions you've seen Ohio State even be able to get into transition.
Or out of the state of Ohio. He's a really good player, this guy. 14.7.
220 pounds. Last 6 games averaging 17.5 points, 8.5. Coach Diebler calls him the everyday guy because he just practices good habits every single day. It starts with how he communicates. It starts with how he plays. And you see why he's the leader of this team.
Shakai Howard out of the corner. That's another guy for the Tigers. Like, they need more guys, but another guy, they get him rolling and really into the rotation. He's talented as heck.
Hey, so now we're talking about a team that goes 12-13 deep.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
Cardwell with another block. He has been doing that all day here in Atlanta from the partisan crowd. We made it to Atlanta, a short drive from Auburn. He's had a day.
I mean, easily he can get above the square. Easily, that's how athletic he is. And I talked earlier about his knack for just always being around the rim and the ball and his ability to make plays. And he has 5 blocks in a day, but also his ability to deter so many shots as we watch Thornton make his first 3.
That tells you everything you need to know.
I mean, how many times do you think that's happened in Bruce Thornton's career? He scored his first bucket of the game.
Long stretch here in the second half. Janai Broom, who's had a magnificent
basketball. I'm sure he's on the phone. I'm sure he's watching right now. But I think that strategy.
Howard on the wing. Howard Howard will launch a long one and fouled on the play in the act of attempting a three, so he'll be at the line. Dominating performance against Ohio State. An Ohio State team that played a pretty tough field house against NC State. Also got the Bill and Kentucky.
That crowd, and when they're energized, there was a picture online of Dregs have taken in.
Yes.
Mark Pope has done a great job this far.
Mobley around and out. The tap up high for Royal. And back to Mobley. That was partially blocked by Howard. Auburn's done it several times today, coming out of nowhere to block shots. And Ohio State has not been able to determine what hit them. And that continues on with Howard sinking a triple.
Ty Howard is lengthy. He is defensively locking in. Kind of moves like Chaz Baker-Mazara on the defensive end a little bit. His ability to knock down 30 minutes every single night. So they reserve a lot of their energy. With the way Bruce plays, if you don't play hard, you're going to sit down on the bench. So it sets the standard of every time you step your foot on the line, you can play 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but you're going to play hard. If not, somebody else will come in and play those minutes for you. Nothing is given with Bruce Pearl's style of play. Starts is on the defensive end.
10 points, 8 rebounds, 4 block shots. Little fall away will be knocked down by Devin Royal. Like most shot blockers, Mahaffey denied underneath. And another rejection by the Auburn defense, which has been swarming all afternoon. Hudson left open up top and knocks down the triple. It's in another triple coming around and out that time. It's really the tone that was set by the Tigers in the opening minutes of the game was from three-point land. Both of these teams can shoot it. John Mobley.
Things that you know for certain: death, taxes, Tom Izzo, and March. Right? Michigan, Dusty May's done one heck of a job thus far. Danny Wolf, transfer from Yale, is one of the most dynamic players we have in the game. And hard when you have two bigs that are playing in pick and roll. Oregon is there with Dana Altman and Nate Brittle. Purdue, Matt Painter, what they have, they beat Alabama, beat Ole Miss. Trey Kaufman-Rain is one of the top players, along with Brady Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. I mean, both the SEC and the Big Ten are just loaded.
Ja'Kai Howard going skyward and slamming it in. And on the Tigers roll. And banked up and in. Ohio State with a rare three in the second half, 91-53. Your final thoughts on Auburn today?
Auburn is national championship good. There's a long way to go. If they continue to focus on the details, they will be in San Antonio. If Bruce Pearl can continue to keep this team locked in, I know it's a cliche, one game at a time, but they have a talent to win a championship and put up a banner in Auburn.
Well, Janai Bruman, a 2020 day, and Bruce Pearl, his morning started off with a new grandbaby daughter, and he's going to finish really well tonight with a couple of graduations back on campus. 91-53 the final. Auburn sailing UCLA, Arizona with Roxy and Fran coming up right now from Phoenix.